All right, welcome back, guys. So we're working on the Enduro a little bit. We did a little bit of work with the race car motor, and that's coming together nicely. We got some more cleaning to do with that, and then we're going to try and get the rest of that motor finished up, and then get the transmission, which is right there. It's in pieces. We'll get that put together, and then we can actually drop it inside the car. So in the meantime, whenever we get a little bit of spare time, we've been working on the Enduro here. And you can see we got the intake manifold off and the cam cover. We're going to be working on getting the exhaust manifold off. That is going to be a pain because a lot of the bolts for the shield is they're rusted. And honestly, I'd prefer if they just broke off. The nightmare scenario would be if the head rounded and then you couldn't get a socket on or anything, and then it's kind of prying and wiggling the heat shield to try and crack it enough where you can get the heat shield off. That way you can get the bolts out. But anyway, I want to give you a little update on what we're going to be doing with this. After we get the head off, then we're going to drop the oil pan, take the pistons and rods out. Then we have to clean the pistons. We're going to drill an extra hole in the oil ring in the piston to allow oil to drain back to the pan so that it doesn't seize the oil ring up and cause any issues in the future. We're going to hone the block right where it sits. We're going to make an episode on that, hopefully, so let you guys see that. We're going to shove rags down on the bottom of the cylinder and clean everything out, and then just hone it with a hand drill and a hone, and be done with it. And it's a real low budget deal here. But while we have the head out, we are going to pressure wash it, clean it up, and everything, so it's a little bit easier to deal with. And we do have to bring the timing up to top dead center. It's almost there now. It's very close. We gotta work on that. But I wanted to give you some of the details of what we're doing here. While we have it apart, even though this thing has 250,000 miles on it, 247,000, I am going to be replacing the water pump. And what I'm thinking is go ahead and remove the AC pump as well, since it's really not doing anything. It's just kind of hanging there. And then I found on Rock Auto they have two different belts. One for a Celica with a serpentine, or with a AC pump, and one without AC. So I'm going to look on maybe AutoZone website, or maybe Advanced Auto or something, and see if I can see the belt routing. If it's something simple, I'll just order the belt for a Celica without AC, and so then we'll have a little bit less weight to turn. Even though the clutch is disengaged, it is still weight that has to turn. So with these little motors, that kind of stuff it helps out a little bit. And then they also get some weight off the car. And these cars are pretty light to begin with, but there's quite a bit of stuff that we can take out. For instance, we're gonna be taking out the entire dash. We might just cut the dash down the middle and take this half out, and we have to take the console out. The emergency brake has to come out. Of course, all the exhaust is going to come off. And my thought is we're going to take the converter off of this as well, but which is going to set a trouble code for the computer. I'm not really worried about that, but at that point we're going to bring the pipe over and exit it out over here, so that all that noise will just blow out that way. It should be quite the spectacle. And another thing we want to do is take a look at the brakes. Like if we're going to run an enduro, it's a long race. It's going to be a lot. It's an endurance. So before we put this thing on track, we're going to take the back brakes apart, clean everything, and put it all back together, make sure everything's working okay there, make sure there's not like a broken spring for the drum brakes sitting back there or anything. And then the front brakes, we're going to take the caliper off and the slides out, and clean and lubricate those. And it looks like the pads are newer, which is good, but we're going to take this all apart and clean it. That way we're not going to have any issues with brake failure. At least we're going to minimize the opportunity for brake failure. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing. You can see it's not bad in there for 200 and some thousand miles. It's not bad. It's pretty clean. But so far so good. I haven't ordered any parts for it yet. I'm still waiting because I want to see. This thing was just drinking oil. You'd run it for a half an hour and it would use a quart or half a quart of oil. It's just absolutely crazy. And just to move it around the house here, and we drove it around the block one time, we had to put a quart and a half of oil in it. So I don't know exactly what's going on. We're going to check and see what the combustion chambers look like, what the valves look like. I'm sure there's some carbon buildup on those. We're going to pull the valves out of them and clean the valves off and lap them in, so we'll get good valve sealing and everything whenever we put this back together. Just a few little extra things just to make sure that the motor's making all the power that it should. Totally stock, but we want to make sure we're not running 15-20 horsepower down on what this thing was supposed to run with originally. Original timing chain, we're gonna leave that in. 250,000 mile timing chain, Toyota for the win. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to watch more of this, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll keep you updated. See you in the next video.